Why do you play in the WNBL? Why do you train so hard, shoot so many threes and do line sprint after line sprint? Because you love it. Well, maybe not the line sprints, but you love the finals. You play to have a chance to have a sniff at the possibility of bringing your club a championship. Hello, I'm Hannah Hollis in 38-degree Canberra, live for the first game of the first semi-final series. The Canberra Capitals, they face the Perth Lynx in the best of three, and this battle is about to heat right up.
When you totally commit, look at us. When we get 10 of us totally committed to our game plan, nobody can play against us. Now take that as a stinking one and forever lesson. Stop stepping on the court and playing at 85%. Huh? Guys, I'm telling you, I don't care what happens today. I care that we get ourselves back. And we're back. We ready to go? Come on.
So dangerous on the spin. Taylor for the triple. She goes to the basket and count the points as well.
This is why you play the whole season, so you can play playoffs.
We're going to play an aggressive mentality, and I think it's going to be an exciting brand of basketball.
That's a pretty move. Steindl.
It's not about us as individuals, but it's about us as a team, so that we can go as far as we can in playoffs. This is what the whole season's for.
Always danger zone.
You look at our starting five potentially, and there's a lot of leadership there. Tolo's an incredible leader.
Got all the archers at the moment, Canberra.
So I think that's what's going to make us such a special group, is that we'll all get to lean on each other and not just look to one person or burden one person with all of that.
Nurse on cue.
Oh, they're a very good team. They're loaded with talent, but they also are people. And people can make mistakes and crack under pressure and make poor decisions, and that's what we'll be heading for.
It's finals time in the WNBL. It's enough to give you goosebumps, that package. Hello and welcome to the AIS Arena. Ben Waterworth alongside dual Olympic medalist and a lady who knows a lot about this time of the year, Jenny Screen. And Jenny, for the first time in 8 seasons, finals basketball is back in Canberra.
You wouldn't want to play anywhere else in Canberra. They support women's sport and basketball very well, especially the University of Canberra. It is hot, Ben, and I'm expecting some hot basketball on this court tonight as well.
38 degrees, as Hannah just mentioned. The heat policy will be in place. We'll explain that as the call goes, but we'll also explain the final setup as it sits at the moment. The Canberra Capitals and the Perth Lynx at this stage. They're playing tonight. Second game will be next Thursday over in Perth, and should a third be required, Saturday the 2nd of February, we'll be back here at the AIS Arena. The other semi-final series will see the Melbourne Boomers hosting the Adelaide Lightning on Sunday. The return game sees the Lightning host the Boomers next Thursday at Titanium Security Arena. And should a third be required, we're going to a third. The Boomers and the Lightning, Sunday the 3rd of February at the State Basketball Centre. But for the moment, all our attention is on tonight's game between the Lynx and the Capitals. And so far this season, Jenny, as we have a look at the head-to-head results, they might have the series 2-1 Perth, but there have been some feisty games, haven't they?
Feisty is understatement. There is no love lost between this team, and there's been some blood too on the court that's been shed. That just shows how passionate and important these games are. But the difference, I think, is going to be Marianne Tolo tonight.
Well, she returned for that third game, was a big reason why the Caps won by 32 points. Let's see how the Canberra Capitals line up as we look ahead and count down to this semi-final, the first game. And when you look at this team on paper, there's a lot of finals experience, 55 finals overall, including 24 by Kelly Wilson.
It's just amazing when you hear about those numbers. As a head coach, that gives you confidence, because you can't buy experience, Ben. Any coach would want that. I think these girls will be looking to lead this team tonight on the backs of Wilson, Griffin, who's probably going to be the potential MVP for this league. But the depth of this team is just as important. I think Coach Goriss has done a great job in recruiting and has great support around him with Carly Wilson as his assistant coach and Phil Brown.
Well, let's find out a little bit more about that man, Paul Goriss, who led the Capitals to the minor premiership this season in the WNBL in this Team Talk brought to you by Chemist Warehouse.
I guess I started coaching by accident. My brother and I used to ride to school of an afternoon, and his team didn't have a coach at the time, and so I got conned into coaching by the club because I was there every practice session. So I kind of fell into coaching that way, and I started kind of like coaching when I was like 17. The more and more that I got into coaching, the more that I enjoyed it, and kind of like started to take more of an interest in coaching from there.
The first time I met Gauze was at an Opals camp, actually
and he was giving me a hard time about my left hand. We were talking about it, and the next day he came up and he had a laminated sheet of paper that had all these left-handed drills for me to do to get better at. And yeah, so that's probably my first memory of Gauze.
I think that I want to give my players the most confidence that they can have in themselves and each other, but also teach them the game and continue to get better. I think that I do a good enough job of like making individual players better, whether it be skill, understanding the game, and just that. To me, it's about the culture and it's about the people that you have. And for me, I want to have great relationships with my players, that they're not just basketball players, that they're people first.
The fact that he has his players back and cares genuinely about them as players, but also as people, is one of the things that makes me want to play the best basketball I can for him.
After you made your comeback game, he got quite emotional in the press conference afterwards.
Yeah, it's touching to see he cares so much, and it means a lot. Even when I told him about my little setback, it was after the game against Melbourne that we lost, and I was nervous to tell him because at that stage I didn't know whether I'd be done for a couple of weeks or for the whole season. So when I told him, he didn't really care about the team or himself. It was all about me, and he felt really horrible for me. But and that's just the kind of character that Paul Goriss is. He really cares about me.
One of the things that has really surprised me about Gauze is his compassion. Now, a lot of coaches show they care in different ways. But for example, like after our last loss, most coaches would have stormed into the locker room, thrown clipboards, yelled, given us a big spray. And he just expressed how disappointed he was because he knows what we're capable of. And so I think for a coach to connect with his players on that level where he understands that we're human, we make mistakes, but also expects great things, I think shows just the great quality of person and coach he is.
Yeah, I've known Paul for a long time, and I think the things that make him who he is his passion, the way he coaches the game, his technical details, and the way he always wants us to move up and down the floor really quickly. I think that's kind of what makes him who he is.
I think my heart rate would be pretty high during the game, probably like most coaches like those. So, the highs and the lows, and, you ride every shot, you ride every defensive possession. So I think every coach's heart rate would be up there.
He's in basketball for the right reasons, and he coaches for the right reasons, and he genuinely wants the sport at all levels to get better, so he more than deserves to win a championship.
It's been a remarkable turnaround. Just 7 wins last year, Jenny, for Paul Goriss and the Caps, 16 this season.
Oh, huge. And I think there's been a lot of growth for him as a coach, but he's also surrounded himself with some great pedigree in terms of the heads and the IQ on his bench. We have a look at Carly Wilson with her back to us. Phil Brown, one of the greatest Australian coaches going round. And look at how well they are dressed. They're colour-coded. The detail he has as a coach and the passion on court, it just shows in all their attire as well.
I reckon Wilson's been driving that one as well. Let's have a look at the WNBL Team of the Week for the final regular season round. And for one more time, Belinda Snell snuck her way in there. Mia Coffey on the Adelaide Lightning Player of the Week, but Kelsey Griffin with her 11th Player of the Week nomination for the season. Quite unbelievable from Kelsey Griffin, who's had such a consistent year.
11 when we only play 15 rounds is absolutely huge. We've said Susie Backtovit a lot of times over the years. Kelsey Griffin is going to be a name time after time for the years to come.
No Perth players, but let's have a look at how they line up for the start of this game. They have lost 4 of their past 10 games. Andy Stewart, though, said during the week that we don't fear anyone, so they'll come in with plenty of confidence still. Yeah,
I think they had a really deflating loss last week on Fox Sports against the Melbourne Boomers, but with any loss comes growth as a team and as a coach, and I think players like Schwagmeyer against Perth has had 15, 22 and 14 against this team, so expect that X factor from her tonight, those spin moves, as you like to call them, Ben. But it is hot in here, and I cannot wait for this game to start.
Well, Jenny caught up with Andy Stewart a little bit earlier in this team talk, brought to you by Chemist Warehouse.
Andy, let's talk about the season so far. You came out of the gates and started really well. In the last half of the season, we've gone 4 wins and 6 losses out of the 10 games. Where is the mindset with the girls right now?
Yeah, well, we knew that we dropped off. And we started to lose a number of games in a row by big margins. So we made some pretty radical changes to our game. And so now we feel like, and we knew we had to change that, say, 5 weeks out. And we feel now that we're coming into our own.
Short turnaround, 6 days. You've had to travel from west to the east, no direct flight to Canberra, and a deflating loss in overtime last weekend. How's the morale of the group right now?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. It was a deflating loss, but well, you know, as a player, you often learn more out of the loss than you learn out of the win. And so what we found was that we learned a lot, but we also saw enough positives in the game to be able to take them and take them forward.
Let's shift our focus now to today's game. Pretty big. In your 4 years as coach, you've taken each team to the final series. Canberra Capitals lead the league in terms of points scored per game with over 82 points per game. Defence has been your focus. Is that still the same today?
Absolutely. You know, look, if they go and get into the 80s, we'll struggle to beat them. And so we've got a number of things. We like to play a bit of pressure defence, and we want to try to disrupt them, and hopefully we can.
I have to ask about Kelsey Griffin, dominating the league, probably a potential MVP. Is she going to be someone that you need to shut down in order to win today?
Absolutely, and it's not so. It's the extra possessions that she gets. You know, offensive rebounds, steals. They're the things that we need to make sure we're competing against her on those.
Perth's been around in this league a very, very long time. 1992 was the last time that they won the championship. You know how difficult it is as a head coach to run a women's league and a women's sport in this country. What would it mean to you and the girls if that was the case this year? Oh,
it'd be super, you know. I mean, but, you know, we just can't afford to look that far ahead. And I know that the cliche is there, but we have to concentrate on what we're going to do in the first minute of the game and then the second minute of the game and make sure we look after that.
Andy Stewart, head coach of the Perth Lynx, good luck today.
Thank you.
He's been fantastic for the Perth Lynx, Andy Stewart. 4 straight seasons the Perth Lynx have featured in finals under his leadership. And that 4th finals campaign begins now with the Perth Lynx in Canberra tonight for semi-final 1 of their series against the top of the table UC Capitals. The Lynx lost 4 of their past 10 games, but the Canberra Capitals have won 9 straight, and Kia Nurse has been a big reason behind that, Jenny Screen.
Absolutely. Listen to that crowd roar, Ben. It is huge in here tonight. I have to give credit to everyone that's shown up, especially in this heat. It's going to pay dividends towards the end of the game.
38 degrees in Canberra today. It's been a hot one, so we'll see some extended breaks at quarter time and 3/4 time as part of the heat policy. As McPhee throws up a 3, but falls up short. And how good is it to see Mariana Tolo back in the WNBL?
You can't replace a 6'5" female athletic background that she has, the experience as an Australian opal. She's come through 2 reconstructions, and I'd like to say a shout out to Christy Wallace, who will be sitting at home. She's just had surgery yesterday after her second knee reconstruction as well, and Tolo's been a massive supporter for her in that.
Kelsey Griffin with a triple to get her account underway, the MVP favourite. She's been awesome, as has Asia Taylor, but that shot not so awesome. But Kelsey Griffin, you asked Andy Stewart about her pre-game. 21 games she's played so far this season, 15 double-doubles.
I know, it's huge, isn't it? Any head coach would be loving that stack of stats when you hear that, and hopefully she'll be able to produce that tonight, and obviously in Perth in a couple of days' time in Game 2.
So Perth with 2 victories over Canberra during the regular season, but Kelsey Griffin starting every single game, and she started hot here.
Very hot indeed, Ben, but for Perth Lynx, their pick and roll defense isn't helping them at the end, and equally on offense, they've taken 3 threes at the moment. They need to look at attacking the rim.
There's Asia Taylor, the cheeky little steal attempt, and we've seen so far this season Taylor and Griffin going head-to-head. You mentioned pre-game, that has resulted in some blood on the court. These two are two of the fiercest warriors in the WNBL.
Warriors is an understatement. Kelsey Griffin is lucky not to hit her chin on the hardwood there, but nonetheless, you love that passion between players. You want that passion. That's what makes for great sport and great stories to talk about, and it's good that we have these players in our league.
First foul of the night going to Asia Taylor. Nice pick and roll from Mitchell to Griffin. Just missed that attempt, and there's Taylor and Griffin on the floor, and probably not for the first time tonight, or the last. Ebzery thought about the 2. Schwagmeyer, she loves a spin, and she's normally a great finisher like that.
spin indeed. She goes right to come back on the left. I'm sure that's on the scouting report from Canberra, and they won't want that to happen again.
First points for the Lynx. Mitchell at the other end. Can't get the quick reply. Schwagmeyer working hard at the back here. Good recognition from Taylor. No finish from Schwagmeyer. Every rebound, every point greeted with a big cheer by this passionate, parochial Canberra crowd. Of course, normally they've played most of their home games this year at the National Convention Centre. This final series, they've gone to the AIS Arena, where they've actually already played 2 games this year for a 1-1 record. But when you get a crowd like this, no wonder they are able to bring it out here as Kia Nurse drops another triple.
You couldn't ask for a better start from the Canberra Capitals here tonight at the AIS Arena. Perth may need to make an adjustment on the pick and roll. They're looking to trap, and they're trying to shoot the long bomb rather than getting into some offensive play. They need to move the ball, make Canberra Capitals play some defense.
So there's a foul in the post on Brittany McPhee for a hold on Kelsey Griffin. It's done before the basket was attempted by Kelsey Griffin, and that's the headache that Kelsey's going to provide this reasonably undermanned Perth Lynx defence.
Yeah, 100%, Ben. She does the one thing that Andy Stewart alluded to in the pre-game, and that's what they need to actually counteract and stop. Get her off the glass, get in front of her, don't let her seal and find your body.
Nurse had a good start so far. She was fouled as she tried to drive to the line. The Canadian international, who was so impressive in last year's FIBA World Cup, she's taken that form here to the WNBL and it's paid dividends. Ranked 7th in the competition for average points per game, just under 18. It's a three-point shooting that's really improved in recent times. 37% from the three-point line Kia Nurse goes. She can get you inside or get you outside. Here she is on cue. Kia Nurse banks it off the glass. And quite rightly, Andy Stewart calls a timeout with the Canberra Capitals off to an explosive 12-2 start. And we're not even halfway through this first quarter. So Paul Goriss caught up with Jenny Screen beforehand on that home court advantage, or so-called home court advantage pre-game.
Oh, I think it may have earlier on, but now we've been, I guess, playing 2 games here, and we've had 2 practices here this week that have settled us into the rings, the court, the venue. So at the end of the day, the hoops are the same size. Everything around us is the same. We've got to control the detail and what we can control and take care of those small things, I think.
So the Canberra Capitals were 9-1 in fact at home this season, 8-0 at the Convention Centre, but 1-1 at AIS Arena. That lost to the Melbourne Boomers. But even you can feel the presence already. This is a home court advantage.
100% home court advantage. I would say that there's close to over almost 1,500 people in this stadium. And when we look at the scoreboard right now, Canberra 12, Perth Lynx 2. It is not affecting them at all, Ben. But Perth need to make some adjustments now. Otherwise, we're looking at a blowout.
They're zipping 4 from beyond the arc so far, the Perth Lynx. They're actually the worst three-point percentage team in the WNBL. But when they did beat the Canberra Capitals in their first 2 games, they clearly won the three-point percentage statistic. So not a good trend early as Taylor's met with a hard foul by Leilani Mitchell, who puts her hands up and says, not sure what that was all about from Asia.
Yeah, when we look at it from size point of view, Leilani compared to Asia Taylor, doesn't come up trumps there, but a little bit of physicality, a little bit of bump in the lane, nothing untoward, and Asia just enjoyed making the most of it.
First team foul for the Capitals, 3 fouls for the Lynx so far in this quarter. Pick and roll from Schwagmeyer to McPhee, no good. Ball movement not clean at the moment from the Lynx, but Ebzery gets a much-needed basket.
Much needed for her team and much needed for her. She is a player that rides on confidence, and it's good to see her hit one of her first shots of this game.
Yeah, her 270th WNBL game, her 6th final. She was part of the Sydney Uni Flames finals campaign last season, as Nurse is really heating up with those mid-range jump shots, and so is Kelsey Griffin off the glass.
Thank you very much, Mariana Turlo, for the tip in and contest on that offensive rebound, but there's those 1%ers that we have come to know from Kelsey Griffin.
Taylor from downtown, and they're now zipping 5, the Lynx. And Kia Nurse heating up. She falls short. Griffin thought it was off Schwagmeyer. Schwagmeyer was immediately retreating, though, to the offensive end of the court. Referees discuss, and it has been reversed. Catch ball. Might have just come off the feet there of Alison Schwagmeyer. So a good win for the Capitals there. They've got fresh 24 seconds to put up this shot. And looking for Kia Nurse off the inbounds pass all the time. Leaves Mariana Tolo free. And she's off target. What have the Lynx got? Coming in as the 4th place team in this WNBL Finals series. Ebsbury putting up a lot of shots early, but not a lot sticking for Katie Ray. She's 1 for 4 from the field. Tolo v Steindl. Mitchell for 3. McPhee comes up with the board. But Kia Nurse is proving a handful already in this contest.
I'm sorry, have the Perth Lynx missed the memo that this is the Chemist Warehouse semi-final series? Because the way they're playing right now is not a team that should be deserved of this play. Andy Stewart would not be happy with what the girls are doing right now.
The only thing keeping them in the game is some Andy mid-range jumpers like that from Brittany McPhee. 10-point differential between these two sides, but you feel it could get a lot greater very quickly. Tolo O-board strong. They're the best rebounding team in the WNBL, the Capitals, by quite some margin. Wilson with the floater, the veteran. In game number 372 and final number 25. Kelly Wilson, a 3-time WNBL champion, on the scoreboard. And this Canberra Capitals crowd loving what they're seeing. Just off the feet, though, of Kelsey Griffin. Couple of substitutions for the Lynx. Maddie Allen and co-captain Tony Farnworth checking in for Ebsbury and Steindl. But not much going right early goings, Jenny, for the Perth Lynx.
No, hopefully these substitutions can inject some firepower or some leadership or some energy. I feel like it's very lackluster. There's no voice out there. The only people I can hear are the Canberra Capitals on the court, their bench, and the Canberra crowd. These Lynx girls have got to dig deep right here.
Here is Farnworth. Great servant of the Perth Lynx for a number of years. Mansfield also checking in from a long range. It's a good look. There's Maddie Allen with a good rebound. Gives them a fresh 14 seconds. McPhee for 3. There's nothing dropping from beyond the arc for the Lynx. 0 from 8 so far. And little Maddie Rochi's got plenty of confidence. She checks in, but no good on her first attempt. Farnworth. Allen. Mansfield calls for the screen. Gets that shot she was after. Can't make the most of it. So far off the glass, the Capitals with a 9-8 advantage. Tolo wasn't called for the foul there, Maddie Allen. Mansfield brings it down. McPhee straight away. She saw the opening and went straight to the basket.
And hopefully that gets them on a run here now. Sorry for those combinations of words there. I'm getting a bit confused, as are the Perth
You're so
Lynx.
excited, Jenny.
Oh, the heat is getting to me.
38 degrees in Canberra on a warm day right across the country. As Kelsey Griffin will go to the line.
Great job by Kelsey Griffin there with attacking the rim. That's exactly what Perth Lynx need to do down the other end. 0 of 8 from the three-point line. It's very much one pass and shot, no ball movement, no real structure, and no real leadership out there.
Which is totally against what the Perth Lynx have been doing the past couple of weeks. So they've been using up as much of their 24 seconds as possible. They've still been able to get the same amount of shots up. It's paid dividends defensively, but it's totally against the grain of what they've been trying to do in the past few weeks. So Kelsey Griffin with 2 free throw misses. She only goes at 75% from the stripe. But she's clearly the MVP favourite. Should be announced a little bit later on this summer. Farnworth thought about the 3. McPhee with 4 to shoot. Nice fadeaway and gets the lucky roll. Couple of handy baskets for the American international. 6 points for Brittany McPhee. She had 19 points in these two teams' first encounter back in round 5. Electric in that third quarter, which was on Fox Sports. But speaking of electric, how about that ball movement and finish for Kelsey Griffin?
Yeah, she's sucking in the big ones as she runs down the court. Not that that'll be an issue for her. She'll always find another gear, but those subs will have to come quick and fast in a game with this heat.
Well, McPhee at the moment is single-handedly keeping the Perth Lynx within striking distance. Lauren Scherf checking in for the Capitals. Guarded by Allen as Mitchell brings the ball down. There is Scherf. No foul called on either player there as McPhee comes in. Strong rebound off the defensive glass.
Great job by McPhee. She seems to be doing it from both ends. She's been quiet in the second part of this season, but good to see her trying to keep her team in this game.
Here she is for 3. And Kelsey Griffin with yet another rebound. That's board number 6 already for Kelsey Griffin. We've still got 1 minute left in this first quarter. Hits the ball so well off the glass. Nurse in Brittany McPhee's face, if you don't mind.
Huge, and that's what we've come to know from Kia Nurse. Massive 3 right in front of her bench, and it was great to see them get up and celebrate with her.
2 from 3 from the 3-point area. Kia Nurse, 12 points in this first quarter. Brittany McPhee at the other end, keeping her side in the game. She's up to 10. Mitchell pulls up for a mid-range 2, and the Capitals are hot from no matter the position on the floor.
2-possession game right now, 21 seconds left on the shot clock. A good shot here and a defensive stop from Perth Lynx will give them leverage going into that second quarter.
11-point differential between the two sides. We saw the Capitals blow the Lynx away in their most recent encounter on Fox Sports. 5 to shoot for Asia Taylor. Maddie Allen has to put it up. She's not very confident putting it up, but that'll do.
Known for really blocking shots and protecting the paint, but they needed that score and she was willing to do it.
7 to shoot for Leilani Mitchell, the star opal. Kelsey Griffin. Euster. What a confidence booster from the MVP favourite on the quarter-time buzzer.
Absolutely huge, Ben. Huge in every facet of this game, whether it's defensively or offensively, she just gets it done.
Canberra by 12 at the first break. Welcome back to the AIS Arena, where the kids have hit the floor during the break and produced the longest conga line you'll ever see, and they are all pumped because their Canberra Capitals have made a statement in this first semi-final. They lead 28-16 at quarter time. Now, just a reminder that the heat policy is in place at the moment. If a game, or if the temperature inside a basketball stadium is between 31 and 36 degrees, there's an extra minute break for quarter time and three-quarter time, and also the referee has the opportunity to call a timeout, an extra timeout if one hasn't been called by either coach during a quarter, hence the extra minute break that we will see. Jenny Screen, dual Olympic medalist, has been beside me for the call, and a 28-point first quarter from the Canberra Capitals was a big statement.
Domination led by Griffin with 12 points and 6 rebounds in total. A player would be happy if they finished that with a game, and she's done it in a quarter, adding to that Kia Nurse 5 of 7 from the field and 2 of 3 from long range. The only one doing a lone range, I should say, is McPhee for Perth Lynx with 10 points, 5 of 8, but they've got to keep attacking, Ben. They're 0 of 9 from the three-point line. I know if they're open, they want to take it, you want to be confident, but if you're not putting numbers on the board, you can't rely from those threes.
Well, Kelsey Griffin, so far this season against the Perth Lynx, has scored a double-double in every single game, or registered a double-double in every single game, and she's well on her way to another one for the 4th consecutive game. As the clock ticks down for our mandatory 3-minute break between quarter 1 and quarter 2. And the Perth Lynx desperately need the first few baskets. They trail by 12 points. Brittany McPhee with 10 points as well as 3 rebounds. Overall, the rebound count pretty even. Stats bench just confirming with the referee a couple of numbers before we get this one underway. This is a great crowd.
100%. Any player loves to play in front of their home crowd, but when it's as big as this, it adds a little bit more intensity to the way you play. This second quarter, Ben, the Perth Lynx is going to show to us what they're capable of. Can they stand up to the challenge here and claw back?
They got Andy finals experience out on the floor. Led by Katie Ray Ebzery and Kayla Steindl. This is Mansfield. 2 Ebzery with 10 to shoot. Schwagmeyer by herself. She needed that for her confidence.
Great job, but the best thing about that was the ball movement. Inside, outside, skip pass, open 3, nailed it. When they don't go one-on-one and they play team basketball, it's beautiful to watch.
And making the most of their full 24 seconds on that occasion as well. Patient build-up. It's been a consistent message from Andy Stewart and the Lynx over the past month. Good find there for Frolling, and Lauren Scherf for 3. She misses, but a nice offensive rebound by little Maddie Rocci.
Little by stature, but a big heart, that's for sure. She is an up-and-coming Australian junior, I should say. I'm really struggling with my words today, guys. Tongue-tied. The heat is getting to me, but has gone to the World Championships for a 3-on-3 for Australia as well.
Represented Victoria at under 16, under 18 and under 20 level. Turnover here, though, by the Caps. It's quite a young Caps 5 out on the moment, and the Perth Lynx might pounce. Mansfield misses, keeps it alive. Fresh 14. Can the Perth Lynx capitalise? Start of this second quarter. Steindl gets the lucky roll, and that's 2 triples in a row for the Lynx.
They're making me eat my words, Ben. I told them to stop shooting threes, and they've come out and hit 2 from 2 in the second quarter. Good to see.
2 from 11 overall so far in this contest. Mitchell, so good at finding a teammate. Foul called on the Lynx.
Great job there by the Perth Lynx. They were both there, but just a silly lack of concentration from Steindl to put a hand in. They're 2 tall towers. She wasn't going to shoot that, but they've bailed her out, and they've got a possession, 14 seconds on the clock.
First team foul of the quarter. Steindl with her first personal. 9 to shoot, Wilson. Keely Frolling seeing some time off the bench. And Schwagmeyer with a strong rebound, and Steindl read that well, but no good on the finish. That was a golden opportunity. Good recognition from Schwagmeyer, who looms as their spiritual leader, the Lynx. Tolo well short. Schwagmeyer averaged 17 points against the Capitals this season. Scored 22 in the second meeting, and Steindl goes for 3. And there's a foul called as Steindl put up the 3-point shot. That's a coach killer.
That is a coach killer, especially as I'm sitting here broadcasting this game thinking, oh, that's not a shot you want. Great defense there by Keely, but really hard to see on the replay there whether it actually was a foul. I saw air, Ben. I'm not sure. We'll have to leave that one for the viewers at home, but lucky for the Perth Lynx.
Good opportunity for Kayla Steinel, who's one of their Perth Lynx best free throw shooters as well. As Kelsey Griffin checks back in for the Capitals. Steinel goes at 85% from the free throw line this season. Was known this time last year as Kayla Standish, but married long-time boyfriend Clint Steinel, who plays for the Perth Wildcats. So it's pretty handy for the Perth ownership, who own both the Wildcats and the Lynx.
Package deal there.
Yeah.
Her sister as well played in the WNBL, Tammy Standish, for the Adelaide Lightning back in the early 2000s as well, a former teammate of mine who lives up north in Queensland, who I'm sure is watching her sister as well.
She's had more WNBL finals played than any other Lynx player out there tonight. This is her 11th final, Kayla Steinel, in her 143rd WNBL game. So just like that, Jenny, we're back to a 4-point ball game. The Caps have not scored in this quarter, and the Lynx have put on 8.
Chalk and cheese, Ben, from the first quarter to this. Interesting ball game.
Call for the Lynx to step up. There's a few more experienced players back on the court now. Wilson, Nurse, and Griffin. Just when you thought you were back in the contest, up step 3 superstars of the league. Kelly Wilson for Griffin. Thought about the shot, went for Tolo instead. Just nothing dropping for Tolo so far. 0 from 4 from the field. And Griffin called for the foul as Schwagmeyer was thinking about freeing up Asia Taylor.
Great job by the Perth Lynx to get some stops, which I think Andy Stewart will be very happy with, but that's creating their offense and attacking as well, as Schwagmeyer doing what she does well, penetrating, getting deep and drawing those fouls.
Foul was in fact on Kelly Wilson just before the contact with Griffin. Schwagmeyer and Ebsbury was 16 to shoot. An unlucky roll this time for Katie Ray. 1 for 5 from the field for the Opal squad member. FIBA World Cup silver medalist. Here's Kia Nurse, 12 points in that first quarter. Tolo still yet to score. Getting some decent looks. 5 to shoot, they didn't hit the rim. And Schwagmeyer brings it down. Andy Stewart be loving what he's seeing as Schwagmeyer so confident driving to the basket. Didn't get it on that occasion, but she'll have 2 free throws. And we saw last week against the Adelaide Lightning how damaging she can be for an opposition when she drives so confidently to the rim.
Damaging, but very quickly. She is an X factor. You alluded to, Ben, you should be a coach. She likes to go right, spin back to her left, but they need to keep an eye on her, the Canberra Capitals.
So Paul Goriss, almost 20 years ago, took a 1-year scholarship at the AIS, coaching scholarship. Now he's on the verge of a WNBL championship.
Shoot, okay? Unless it's off an early inside touch or a wide open 3 with rebounders, okay? We're playing too quick, I know, okay? Get back into on the run, a down twist. Next play though, you want to go Fox or flex 4? One down for you, so we go 1 down, but then stay with down twist. Tolo, roll hard and every time, pass fake. Remember, you keep spotting up off the ball. The girls.
I love flex 4.
Hey, D-trans. Here we go.
So what you'll notice about most coaching teams around the competition is they normally dob the polo, but have a look at the UC Capitals coaching setup. Our own Carly Wilson right in amongst it as well. The colour coordination is on point, Jenny Spring.
On point, that is for sure, and I'd expect nothing less from our fellow commentator on Fox Sport here in Carly Wilson as she does her other job, which is the assistant coach for the Canberra Capitals. But being serious for a second, I actually like it because it adds a bit of professionalism to our league, and it's really important. I think it's an added aspect. Coaches in their own right can have their flair, and they have theirs, which is really good and different from just the polo.
You saw Paul Goriss, Carly Wilson, Phil Brown there as well, as is Beck Goddard, who's joined the Canberra Capitals this year. Premiership-winning AFLW coach with the Adelaide Crows a couple of years ago. So she's brought a totally different perspective, but absolutely loving her time with the Capitals this year. And most importantly, joining in the fun with the colour coordination. 2-point ball game. 10 points to nothing in this quarter, but Kelsey Griffin so good at getting to the foul line, and she'll have another opportunity right here, right now.
Her middle name should be just Tough. tough. There's no other word to describe her. I mean, she could be out there on one leg and still get it done. She is such an undersized player, did a great job with the Bendigo Spirit in her earlier years, and now leading this team hopefully to another championship. They're 8th in fact.
Well, you mentioned the Bendigo Spirit. They won 2 WNBL championships earlier this decade. Kelsey Griffin was grand final MVP in both of those contests, so she knows exactly what is required to win a championship. First player signed by the Capitals for the 2018-19 season. The roster's been built around her. The season's been built around her. Asia Taylor finally on the board. Her first bucket of the night. He puts up a lot of field goals per game. Lauren Mansfield gets a hand in there. Taylor puts up more field goal attempts than any other player in the WNBL. But she's only been held to 3 attempts so far, so defensively the Caps doing a good job. So the starting 5 that we saw for the Capitals is all back out on the floor now. Tolo spinning, Griffin wide open for the triple. She falls up short. McPhee back on the contest. She was so good in that first quarter with 10 points and 3 boards. That's her 4th. Taylor one-on-one with Griffin. The idea was there, not quite the execution. 10 to shoot for Lauren Mansfield and the Lynx. She wants to screen from Taylor. Pick and roll. Taylor with 3 to shoot. Has to put it up. And Ebzery couldn't quite find it. But I think Andy Stewart mightn't mind that play in terms of they were using up all their 24 seconds and that they didn't put the shot up straight away.
Yes and no. I think we could look at it both ways. That's probably a positive way. I think Asia Taylor should have probably just taken the jump shot. She was the taller, longer player there in terms of the options. But also they got stagnant again. They've done a really good job in this first 5 minutes of moving the ball. They need to maintain that.
Probably doesn't help that Canberra's best 5 players are back out on the court as well, making it a lot tougher for the Lynx. 8 to shoot for Leilani Mitchell, who's been running the point all night. Wilson wide open for 3. This crowd cheering every basket and every rebound.
Textbook play there, pick and roll. The defense had to come across and help, and then it allowed the kick out in 3 for the Capitals.
Strong from McPhee. She's athletic at the basket, and that's on display there. She's got 12. Brittany McPhee from Stanford University. Leading scorer for the Lynx so far. Taylor driving hard. She was fouled and will go to the line. And this can draw the scores level after the Capitals led by 11 during that first quarter.
Asia Taylor only has 2 points to her name at the moment, Ben, but her footwork and ability to get to the rack is really good. She's looking a bit almost underdone, really emotionless. That's not the normal way she plays. I wonder if something is wrong or whether she's just really focused and determined at this game.
She normally averages 20 points per game. That's ranked 1st in the WNBL. She normally goes at 73% from the line as well. 4 seasons in the WNBA with Minnesota, Connecticut, Washington and Indiana. And after a couple of seasons with the Flames, she's been a very handy acquisition for the Lynx in 2018-19. 1-point ball game halfway through this second quarter. Hope you're enjoying semi-final 1, wherever you might be watching around the country on Fox Sports.
And right now, if you are watching, Perth Lynx have set up in a zone, and that has created a little bit of disorder amongst the Canberra Capitals.
They have Kayla Steinel and Asia Taylor underneath the rim. But when you put them up against Mariana Tolo and Kelsey Griffin in the 4 and 5 positions there, Jenny, they just can't compete.
They can't compete, and especially in a zone, it makes it a lot harder. I like the option that Andy's done. He's trying to challenge Canberra Capitals, but it's really hard to box out when you play a zone, and with that tall timber, it's always going to go Griffin's way.
It's a second personal foul for Asia Taylor. There's Nurse, catch and shoot on the turnaround, if you don't mind. Good hustle from Farnworth. Put herself in a good position to win that ball back as Nurse is called for the foul. There's a lot of experience on display there from Tony Farnworth, game number 245 and the 13th final. It's a 15th foul for the UC Capitals, meaning that Tony Farnworth will go to the line. She's 79% free throw shooter. Her 7th season with the Perth Lynx. And had a big 2018 representing New Zealand. Gold medal at the 3x3 Asia Cup. Also bronze at the Commonwealth Games. The Lynx remarkably hit the lead in this contest. They trailed by 12 at quarter time. They fought their way back. Nurse loves a 3-point shot. She's off target. Kia Nurse has attempted and made more 3-pointers than any other WNBL player this season. So versatile at 183 centimetres. So they're a little bit quiet at the moment, the UC Capitals crowd. The Lynx have done well to get the game on their terms in terms of tempo. Taylor, deep 2 attempt, well off target. Rocci through her hands, but Nurse was very strong. Wilson ups the tempo for Maddie Rocci. And Steindl puts it in McPhee's advantage. A couple of strong catch and shoot attempts from Kayla Steindl, who's attempted more 3-pointers than any other Lynx player this season. Ebzery for Farnworth. Back to Ebzery with 6 to shoot. The captain, Tony Farnworth, with a huge 3-pointer, and the Lynx out to a 4-point lead.
Wow, who would have thought first quarter compared to right now with 3 minutes to go, and Perth Lynx take the lead for the first time. Massive comeback.
Holding foul is called. Kelsey Griffin hits the floor very hard. And that is another team foul on the Perth Lynx in this quarter. That's their 5th as well, so Kelsey Griffin will be going to the line. Farnworth called for the foul. 11 Team of the Week nominations for Kelsey Griffin this season. And she's having a career best season despite, Jenny, some incredibly bad run with injuries. A hamstring tear, she had ankle surgery, she had hip surgery in the past 12 to 18 months. And now she said during the week that she's feeling the best she ever has in her professional basketball career.
It's a credit to her. She's the consummate professional, and if anyone wants to, you know, mimic their level of ability, it would be to look at her and what she's done and coming to Australia in the form that she's been able to produce, just like that right there, Ben.
Asia Taylor with a huge 3-point attempt. She's thriving under Andy Stewart and the Perth Lynx set up this season. And they're out to a 5-point lead, the Lynx. Ebzery almost forced a turnover. Tolo blocked there by McPhee. Still 6 to shoot, though. Wilson for 3. Griffin keeps it alive. Mitchell just got the feet of Katie Ray Ebzery. Looked like Ebzery might have been out of bounds, though, when the ball made contact with her.
Get out of jail free card there, I think, for the Canberra Capitals. But again, I think we keep saying her name. Griffin, those 1%ers allows the opportunities for Canberra Capitals to get another look at the bucket.
Pretty clever from Leilani Mitchell. Grand final MVP at the Sydney Uni Flames a couple of years ago. Here she is on cue. Tolo one-on-one with Farnworth. Here's a big mismatch. And finally, Mariana Tolo's on the board. Tolo with a hard foul as Asia Taylor was driving to the basket. Canberra Capitals not happy with the call at all.
Neither are the crowd. If you can hear at home through the TV, I would be probably disappointed too. She may have just reached in a little bit there. Yeah, probably with the left arm coming across the body. But in terms of body stance, she was definitely in the right place. But great job by Asia Taylor to get under the skin. And perhaps this is a catalyst for her to continue to put points on the board.
She misses on her first attempt. We saw her hit a 3-pointer just before, Jenny. Before this season, across 70 WNBA and 46 WNBL games, she'd only attempted 48 3-pointers. Prior to this game, she's attempted 84 in this season alone. A total game plan change, and she's thriving under Andy Stewart this season. That's sloppy from Mitchell. 2-on-1 in favour of the Lynx. And Taylor again is fouled.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Nice hard foul there. I'm sure we'll see on the Fox Sports replay. Leilani had to. She had no option. She's a smaller person against Asia Taylor. But also, this is finals basketball, Ben. You want to have physical play like that. But I think the referees may have called an unsportsmanlike foul.
You wonder if that was almost a bit of revenge for what happened.
Emotion on it, but we can't have it.
Game
so
two.
When you're ready, we've got 2 shots here.
Perhaps not a bad decision by the referees to keep control of the game. We know that there's no love lost, Ben, between these two teams. There's been a heated battles every time they've faced up. So probably credit to the referees for maintaining that control and asserting what they're going to allow.
Well, earlier this season, as Taylor misses her first attempt, Taylor was going for a bucket at the Bendat Basketball Centre. Kelsey Griffin was guarding. Taylor came down and innocuously hit Griffin. She was busted open, Kelsey Griffin. And lots of blood was put on the court. Now, Taylor is now 2 from 6 from the free throw line, Jenny. So she's had ample opportunities to extend this lead beyond 4 points.
Yeah, I know. I think it's a great question we need to ask at halftime. Is she carrying an injury? Is there an issue or a concern?
Farnworth for 3. Kelsey Griffin this time beats Taylor for the rebound. A minute and a half left in this quarter, which has seen the Perth Lynx score 24 points to Canberra's 8. 9 to shoot for Leilani Mitchell. Aggressive drive, the floater no good, and Schwagmeyer brings it away. Just a couple of times a little sloppy coming out of the backcourt. Schwagmeyer loves this situation. Taylor for 2. You're right, Jenny, she's not quite elevating on that jump shot. She's no good on that attempt. She's 2 for 6 from the field, and she's 2 for 6 from the free throw line. Less than a minute. Tolo at the top of the key. Griffin for Nurse with 4 to shoot. Beautiful pass. Great team basketball.
Great team poise there, that's for sure. Getting the ball through hands. So much talent in this team.
Tolo with her second bucket. Taylor one-on-one with Griffin. Farnworth clever for Steindl, who's always shooting that. And she's scoring as well. Massive just near halftime.
In the context of the game, Ben, huge. They now take a 5-point lead, 1 possession left.
What a quarter by Andy Stewart and his Perth Lynx troops. They're right back in this contest. Tolo one-on-one, 4-second differential between game clock and shot clock. Mitchell for 3. And the Lynx have 5 seconds. The Kiwi international, Tony Farnworth for 3. Off target, but what a quarter by Perth. Oh, that shot went in. Don't count it. Wonderful attempt. That brought the Canberra crowd alive. Here it is, Kelsey Griffin, well after the buzzer sounded. Just channeling her inner Belinda Snell. But the Lynx and Andy Stewart will be stoked with that second quarter comeback, 43 to 38 at the half. And it's been a team-orientated effort at that. McPhee with 12, but she had plenty of teammates come to the party in that quarter. Hannah Hollis is standing by courtside with Paul Goriss.
Thank you, Ben. Canberra Capitals coach Paul Goriss. Paul, explosive start, particularly in that first quarter, but the second quarter it kind of fell away. What happened?
I think we stopped our running game and getting out in transition. We want to score more points than that, and we really slow down the pace to a pace that we don't want to play at. So we need to up the tempo in the second half, especially at the offensive end.
You speak about upping the tempo. When we go into the third and fourth quarter, who specifically are you looking for to lift to lead the team?
Oh, like everyone. It's shared responsibility and leadership.
All right, good luck in the second. All right, Andy Stewart from the Perth Lynx. So very slow start in that first quarter. Second quarter, you're now leading 43 to 38. What sparked the turnaround?
Yeah, look, I think we were a little bit slow, but they were hot. You know, and they hit every shot that they took in that first few minutes and got off to a great start. But the thing was that they were scoring a lot from the perimeter. You know, if they're going to shoot like that from the perimeter, we're going to lose. So we just had to hold in there and keep playing defense the way we were.
Can I ask you about Asia Taylor? We're used to seeing her score on average 20 points a game, but she's only managed 7 in this first half. Is she okay? Is there an injury concern there? Is it the heat that's getting to her?
Well, she's only got to score 13 then, doesn't she? And she's got her 20. No, look, we don't mind who scores. Okay. And obviously Brittany's playing really well. Swag's hit a couple and Kayla's hit a couple from the perimeter. So, and that's the thing, is if we can come from all different angles, we can really bother teams.
All right, good luck in the second.
Thank you.
All right, stay with us here on Fox Sports. All the first half highlights coming right up. Welcome back to the AIS Arena in the nation's capital. Look at that, 31.5 degrees. It is a scorcher inside the stadium. You can only imagine how hot it is outside the stadium here at the AFM Waterworks TV screen alongside me. We are feeling the heat. You can only imagine what the players are feeling at the moment. At score at halftime, Canberra 38, Perth 43. Interestingly, the first half it was all Canberra. First quarter, sorry, it was all Canberra. Second quarter, it was all Perth. As we take a look at the first half match stats, Jenny, I want to come to you. It was defensively for Perth that they really tightened it up.
Yeah, I think so. Andy Stewart has made it a focus for them in the latter end of this season, and you can see in the second quarter today, they've done exactly that. They were able to control the tempo, get some turnovers, push into offense in transition, and then start to move the ball and knock down some threes and start to penetrate. Turnovers-wise, not much issues there. We can see the assists, UC Capitals a little bit up, but I think this is a great contest and it's going to be a massive second half.
27 points to 10 in favour of the Lynx in that second quarter. It was a remarkable turnaround.
I want to talk about Kelsey Griffin in that first half. She's had 11 Team of the Week nominations.
Yep.
No-brainer the way that she's been playing this season. In fact, so 16 points today. The last time she played, she starred against Perth, 17 points and 15 rebounds. We're well on our way to seeing a repeat effort.
She's in career best form and she's the MVP favourite. She's doing it inside and outside. She's hit 2 from 3 from beyond the arc already, Jen.
Yeah, but the thing I love about her, apart from her scoring prowess, is her 1%er. She's a blue-collar worker. She will dive on loose balls, all the rebounds. I love watching her play, and any young junior basketball watching at home should mimic her and the way she plays.
Kia Nurse for Canberra opened the scoring. Her energy, her ferocity and tenacity is something that stood out to me. How did you see the first half?
Yeah, 2 from 5 from beyond the arc. She puts up more three-point shots than anyone else. She's a catch-and-shoot operator. The problem is, though, Jenny, besides Griffin and Nurse, there hasn't been much else for the Cats offensively.
No, absolutely. I think the person behind both of those players maybe perhaps has 4 points in Wilson, who we know has the ability and experience comes finals time. So I'm sure Paul Goriss will allude to that, but their defensive transition, I think, is going to be a focus in the third quarter.
All right, I just want to touch on the tightness of the rim, Jenny. We actually spoke about it before. It's really having an issue. As we take a look at the stat leaders, some interesting point scorers there.
Yeah, I think Brittany McPhee for the Perth Lynx has done a great job. She kept the boat afloat in that first quarter, and then we saw Steinel and Taylor get to work in the second quarter. Kia Nurse, as we said, and Griffin. But Mariana Tolo, she hasn't been hitting her shots, but don't expect anything less from her with her experience in the second half. They'll keep going to her.
You speak about Brittany McPhee there, 12 points. She's averaging 13 points a game. So we're only halfway through and she's almost got her season average. Tonight, she's, as you say, single-handedly kept Perth in this one.
Well, certainly in the first quarter. In the second quarter, she actually only hit 1 bucket. It was her teammates that lifted around her, but if it wasn't for her, who knows what the score would be.
100%, but I also think it's her on the glass, it's her running the lanes, the things that we can't stat that are really important, but she embracing this heat right now and this crowd, and I think the second half should be another great contest from her.
I want to talk about Asia Taylor very quickly. When I spoke to Andy Stewart at halftime, I asked if there was something potentially going on with Asia Taylor, because we just see so much from her so early on, and she's kind of been quiet in the first half. Do you think it'll turn around in the second?
Well, we just noticed in her jump shooting in particular, even at the free throw line, she's just not quite getting the same elevation as what she usually does, Jenny. She's their most important player. Hopefully she can improve in that second half.
Yeah, she is experienced. I think she'll find another gear. Perhaps the heat and the travel, let's not forget, coming from the west to the east coast on 2 flights to find themselves here, maybe playing havoc with her. But I know that she's wanting this Perth Lynx to do well, and game 1 is so important to get on the road.
You see Asia Taylor there getting ready. That's during the game. Hopefully we see a little bit more from her. But Kayla Steindl, Ben, what did you make of her first half performance?
Well, she's always shooting the 3. When she's got a wide open shot from beyond the perimeter, she's always shooting. She hit 2 from 4. She's their most important 3-point shooter. It's quite remarkable for a player her height, how confident she is from beyond the arc.
She's done a great job, and I think if she continues that shooting prowess, that draws the defense out, and then they can continue their athletic penetration in the second half.
All right, well, it is finals time, so I just want to take you guys down at memory lane. If we head to Melbourne last year, so remember it was the Melbourne Boomers, it was Townsville Fire in the best-of-3 final series outside the State Basketball Centre. Look at these kids. Everyone's so excited. This is what the WNBL can do for the community. It's hot in Melbourne, and it will be hot on Sunday when we head down there for their first game in the second semi-final series. So this is between the Melbourne Boomers and the Adelaide Lightning. Our coverage beginning from 5 p.m. So just 48 hours away, and the Boomers have cracked 3,000 memberships this season. So if you are in Melbourne, come along, join us for the fun. We love it. Tonight's crowd at the AAS Arena is electric and hostile even, which is great for Canberra, not so great for Perth. We want a similar thing down in Melbourne, so if you're a Boomers fan or a Lightning fan, come and join us. But let's switch tack. We are here at the AAS for this Canberra v Perth matchup. Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we'll have a third and fourth quarter right here on Fox Sports.
arena is rocking on semi-final night. The first of potentially 3 semi-finals between the Perth Lynx and the UC Capitals. And at the half, it is the Lynx leading by 5 points after trailing by 12 at quarter time. Here's Leilani Mitchell with a perfect start, Jenny Screen, for the UC Capitals.
Great start for her, especially when they went to double down on Tolo, took her time. We'd expect nothing less, especially from the Australian Opal point guard.
The Lynx with their first offensive possession of the quarter. It was a real team-orientated comeback in that second quarter as Schwagmeyer on the left hand is fouled by Wilson and will have 2 free throws. In the 2 wins by the Lynx over Canberra early on this season, it was a team-orientated effort. They didn't have to rely necessarily on one player, even though Alison Schwagmeyer and Asia Taylor were quite prominent. And that was on display in that second quarter, whereas the Capitals, almost all their scoring has been done by Nurse and Griffin.
It was a flip, really.
Yeah.
The first quarter was what was all going wrong for Perth, and then Canberra decided, oh, I'll do that too. And it flipped round, and Perth were doing what Canberra were doing well in the first quarter. So chalk and cheese, definitely. When we look at the statistics, Ben, though, there's nothing between the two teams in any category. I actually don't know who's going to come away with the win here.
Means you shouldn't go anywhere if your eyes fixed on this second half of the WNBL semi-finals series. Great look from Griffin. Nurse was fouled really hard by Brittany McPhee and will go to the line.
Solid cut. Great recognition there from Nurse. Very smart in terms of her back door there. McPhee did a great job to come across and help. Hard foul, yep, but I want that. I want to see that every time these girls are going up for a shot.
One of Canada's best basketballers, Kia Nurse, represented Canada at the 2016 Olympics, so was awesome in that 2018 World Cup. Comes from strong basketball pedigree as well, Kia Nurse. She's good on both attempts. Canberra 6 from 8 from the line. Perth 9 from 15, so going at 60% the Lynx. The worst free throw percentage team in the WNBL this season. Ebzery for 3. And nothing really dropping for Katie Ray tonight. Wilson for Nurse, for Mitchell, for the triple. Boom!
It's almost a replay of the first quarter and the way they came out of the gates. Leilani's hit her second bucket now for this quarter.
And the Capitals are back in front. The foul is called on the UC Capitals, on Kelsey Griffin on this occasion. It's off the ball there, no surprise, going one-on-one with Asia Taylor.
Just giving each other a little bit of a hug there.
Just reminding each other where they are on the court. 1 point lead for the Caps. Best of 3 semi-final series. Perth knocked out in straight sets last year. Asia Taylor, athletic. Looks like no injury problems there with that move. And the Lynx take back the lead. Taylor up to 9 points. Tolo at the other end up to 6.
Smart, very smart play from both players there. Griffin recognised the overplay from Taylor. Back card Tolo, that 6'5" statue down in the low block, ready for the easy 2.
Taylor one-on-one with Griffin. Schwagmeyer will back herself driving to the basket, and in the end, that was an easy lay in.
An easy indeed, probably known on the scouting report more for going to her left, but a great finish there.
She can go left, she can go right. Got all the moves, Alison Schwagmeyer. Mitchell already hit 1 triple this quarter. Make it 2.
Hot outside, but very hot off Leilani Mitchell's hand right now. Again, really smart. They over-capitalised, trying to focus on Tolo's skip pass. Easy 3.
Well done by Schwagmeyer to keep it alive. McPhee with 10 to shoot. Schwagmeyer looking for McPhee, getting to her. 4 to shoot for McPhee. Puts it up, good step around. In the end, had a decent look. But Griffin comes up with her 9th rebound. In fact, 10th. Make that a double-double again for Kelsey Griffin. Her 16th for the season. Nicely done by Steinle and Taylor to strip it away from Tolo. And Kelly Wilson called for another foul. The UC Caps her 3rd personal.
I like the fact that the Capitals are looking to go to Tolo. I think she just needs to be a little bit poised. She's actually so much taller than a lot of these girls that are defending her. She should just square up occasionally and have a look and assess whether she has a little bit of a jump shot there rather than putting it to the dribble, because they're collapsing straight away.
Because we talked a lot about Kayla Alexander last week, and you were talking about the lack of tall players in the WNBL, over 190 centimetres, that can dominate. Tolo is one of the few out there. When she's going, she's impossible to stop.
Yeah, she's got a nice long-range shot and so much a threat in that low block. So she'll find her confidence, no doubt.
Taylor for three. Good look, but falling well short in the attempt. Leilani Mitchell inspired her team back into this context. Hard screen from Frolling. For Nurse, for Wilson. Keely Frolling on the fadeaway, banks it off the glass. Keely Frolling opens her account for the night. 23-year-old from Townsville.
Brother plays for the Adelaide 36ers, also in the NBL.
Having a ripping year too.
Yeah, absolutely. Causing a lot of angst.
McPhee loses control, and you don't want to give Kia Nurse a sniff. This crowd comes to life, and Kia Nurse has one more shot to come.
I love that passion and that fist pump in the air, which I'm sure we'll see on the replay. Great job on the turnover, attack the rim. Mansfield had no other option, but that passion that she shows, which we've missed unfortunately, was so good and got the crowd going. Nice to see that we can see it.
So it might have been an unsportsmanlike foul called against Lauren Mansfield on that occasion. We had one against Leilani Mitchell and Asia Taylor in the second quarter. Thoughts, Jenny?
I don't know. You could argue that they were both similar, but to me, I think Mansfield had no other option. I thought she was going for the ball. I don't think it was over excessive, but also we know the history band, which we alluded to in the first half between these two teams. It can get heated, and with such tightness at the moment, with a, less than, 7-point margin, the referees need to keep control.
So the Caps have scored 17 points in less than 4 minutes in this third quarter, and they've produced the margin to 7 points. Tolo backing down, and no lucky roll for the veteran Capital. Taylor hoping for the Ebzery cut. Farmworth thought about the triple. Ebzery almost could have driven herself to the basket. Now inside for Asia Taylor, using up all their 24 seconds, but Keely Frolling comes up with a nice defensive play.
Great little minutes by number 21, Keely Frolling at the moment. Doesn't really get a lot of court time, but using it valuably here at the moment.
Nurse for three. She's brought this crowd to life.
Boom, money in the bank for her. She's on fire right now, extends the lead for Canberra to 10.
20 points for Kia Nurse. 12 in the first quarter. She's eyeing a big haul now. Farmworth. Mansfield with 6 to shoot. Back for Farmworth, who's going to have a tough look. Kelly Wilson brings it away. When this starting five is on song, are so hard to contain, but Keely Frolling doing well and causing some headaches for the Lynx at the moment, and she's got 2 free throws coming up.
When we talked at halftime, Ben, we made mention of that Kia Nurse and Griffin were the only two really contributing. Really good to see that their bench, and especially the likes of Leilani Mitchell now and Frolling, are trying to add to the power as well of Canberra Capitals.
So timeout called by Perthling's coach Andy Stewart. He sees his team down again by 10 points halfway through the third quarter.
Hey, we're in swing to on ball. Swing to on ball, and then the far side, I want you out. All right? We got it? Yep. Make it a great cut. Nose to nose cut, and then get a ball reverse and get into an on ball out there. But if we get something cheap, you take it. Yep, guys. We've just come back from this deficit. Yep. Take your time, knock down your shots. Yep. Hey, then on a make, we're in on the next D. We're in one zone. No, on the next D, we're in one zone. We got it. Yep, good, go.
There's that third quarter, 20 points to 5 so far. Andy Stewart has had an unbelievable record as Perth coach during the regular season, 59 wins and 33 losses. But in his 8 finals that he's coached so far, 2-6 is his record, and they were knocked out in straight sets last year, Andy Stewart and the Perth Lynx. But he really has revitalised this Western Australian-based club, which was on its knees for a decade and a half in the WNBL. With the help of Jack Bendat and Perth Lynx ownership, they find themselves in finals for a 4th straight year. But at the moment, they find themselves down by 11 points after conceding 21 in the first 5 minutes of this third quarter, putting on only 5 themselves. Maddie Allen checking in, feeding Schwagmeyer. They're using up all their time. Schwagmeyer turnaround, falling short. Look at the desperation from Ali Schwagmeyer. But Kia Nurse picks her pocket and draws the foul. She's playing inspired basketball at the moment, Kia Nurse.
Leading from the front. Great job there by Schwagmeyer. Unfortunate slip on the floor, but Kia Nurse said, it's all right, I'll take the ball from you, and then was able to draw the foul from Mansfield. Not a bad foul, though, because that could have been a transition basket.
Only had 1 training session with the UC Capitals before the start of the regular season, Kia Nurse. She scored 26 points in her first game. And here she is, starring on the floor.
No words right now, but boom, money, money, money. Give the ball to Kia Nurse, and she will knock it down.
And now it's danger signs for the Lynx. They're down by 14 points. And they need the next few baskets and a couple of stops. Maddie Allen could have put up the shot herself. Schwagmeyer tries to keep it alive. She's got 2 to shoot. And it's a shot clock violation. Didn't hit the rim. And Leilani Mitchell's going to have their easiest basket of the year. It is all clicking for the Caps in front of this parochial home crowd. And the Lynx don't have many answers. Mansfield for 3. Shuts them up momentarily.
Yeah, they can, for a moment, breathe or exhale slightly, but they need to lock down and get some stops. If the game or the trend is first quarter goes to Caps, second quarter goes to Perth, we're game on in the 4th quarter.
Nurse liking her 3-point chances, and even those are dropping for her. It is Kia Nurse's night at the AIS Arena. 26 points for Kia Nurse. Foul called on Leilani Mitchell for a hold after she just dished off her 5th assist for the evening. Third personal foul for Leilani Mitchell. That unsportsmanlike early on in the game. McPhee checks back in. Matty Rocci checking back in the UC Caps as well. What are you seeing on the floor, Jenny, that might be able to get the Perth Lynx back into this game because it's starting to get into danger territory?
I think the start by Stewart then to inject McPhee is a good decision. And also Schwagmeyer's entered back in. Katie Ray hasn't given us much. Esbury, she sits herself on the bench. Asia Taylor, too, has found herself there for the past 7 minutes, interestingly. Yeah. So now it's a playing game. Do you continue to try and fight for the win, knowing that you've got to travel back to the West and you're down by 16 in the third quarter, or do you just pack up shop and get ready for game 2? It's a hard one.
Only used the 8 players so far. The Lynx, Charlotte Heal still yet to see some minutes, but Kia Nurse, well, she was almost hitting everything, missed that one. She's having one heck of a night. She's 5 for 9 from beyond the arc. 26 points overall.
Very stagnant here from the Perth Lynx. Not much happening. It's all one-on-one.
Schwagmeyer. Carly Wilson was calling for a travel from the bench. In the end, it's a turnover nonetheless, going the way of the Capitals, who in this quarter have scored 29 points to Perth's 8.
That's crazy, isn't it? When you know that the Perth Lynx have wanted to focus on the defensive end, it's definitely not going their way. But credit to the Capitals, they're just opening up the floodgates right now.
It's a very similar game trend to what we saw the last time these two sides met in December, which was broadcast on Fox Sports. That game was won by 32 points in favour of the Caps. The Lynx won't be wanting that result tonight. McPhee sees the opening and she knocks down a big triple.
A few more stops here with 2 minutes to go at the end of the third quarter is going to be massive for the Perth Lynx if they're going to be any chance to get a win here tonight at the AIS Arena.
Lauren Mansfield called for the foul. Keely Frolling as well will be going to the line as it's the 15th foul on the Lynx in this quarter. And just as the Capitals are getting control, in checks Kelsey Griffin.
And Asia Taylor, watching that matchup for sure. I want to go to Mansfield. I had a little bit of a chat to her before the game. It's been a tough season for her. She's been chasing her tail, you know, with injury and then missing out on the World Championship with the Australian Opals due to injury and hasn't found form here. It's been a tough season for her.
Timeout called by Andy Stewart with a couple of free throws to come. But Paul Goriss will be absolutely stoked with his team's third quarter.
Jumping to the basket, jump to the ball. We can't go under screens. If you've got to go, it's through the biggest gap. All right, but we can't jump off. Hold on. They lock and trail, bump, and then get back early. So they run the curl. It's always the pop back. So we can't get separation. We've got to have ball pressure on the wing, okay? We want to go at another 14. 14. Kelsey, you're here. Lay, Maddie, Kia. So throw it, Keely. You drive down there hard. Rip. Actually, we put Kia this side. So if you haven't got it, we got Kia for 3. Maddie, you go the opposite side. So with 14 attack bodies, 2 more stops.
There is Paul Goriss addressing his troops, as Jenny Screen has mentioned. What a wonderful atmosphere at the AIS Arena tonight. Despite the heat, the fans have come to support their team, and it is a proud club. Jenny, I know Paul Goriss said pre-season that he was determined for this younger group, or the younger players in his team, to know about the history of the UC Capitals. And it's a great history as well. 7 championships, 6 of them won under the tenure of Carrie Graff during that dominant 2000s era. And you would have played against that red-hot Canberra Capitals team, and they were hard to stop.
They were hard to stop, especially when they're led by the legend that is Lauren Jackson, who I'm sure is at home watching these two teams go at it. But it's nice to see that the UC Capitals have Carrie Graff back in the fold and working behind the scenes, and also Lucille Bale, or Lucille Hamilton, who won a championship back in the day. So history and legacy is really important, and this club has it tenfold.
Lucille has been a big reason behind why the Caps have been reinvigorated in 2018-19. Kelsey Griffin's also been a big reason. Good hustle, though. That was Griffin from behind. Put it to Frolling's advantage, and it gives him a fresh 14 seconds. Griffin for 3. Farnworth bringing it down, but off her hands. Referees confer, but it will be a Perth Lynx ball.
3-game possession right now here for the Perth Lynx. They get a good score, stop down the other end, and finish with the last possession of this third quarter. They could gain momentum going into the fourth, which could be really important.
So the Lynx haven't been putting up rush shots in this quarter. They've been using up all their time, but just nothing dropping. The defense has really lifted from the Caps. And 4-on-1 as that ball came down off the rim against McPhee. And the energy that the Capitals are bringing to the floor at the moment is rubbing off on this crowd. Griffin in the post. Nurse thinks about the triple with 9 to shoot. Gets the screen from Griffin and the bucket as well. Kia Nurse is having one hell of a night.
Yeah, take a bow in this hot, hot heat. But I put that back down to Asia Taylor. Went 1 out, and Andy Stewart threw his hands up, and that really hurts him in the context of the game with this last play, 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
What can Schwagmeyer do? She spins on the fadeaway. She misses. Griffin this time. Can she put up the prayer? Mitchell for 3. Misses. Not sure if it would have counted anyway. But what a quarter by the UC Capitals. A remarkable turnaround. And at 3/4 time of the semi-final one, they lead by 16 points. Welcome back to the IS Arena. In that shot there is the legendary Carrie Graf, who has been a champion both on and off the court in the WNBL. Led the Capitals to 6 of their 7 championships. Tom Maher with the other one, while Carrie Graf was coaching the WNBA, if you don't mind, Jenny.
Yeah, with the Phoenix Mercury, did a great job. Also led our Australian Opals to a bronze at the 2012 London Olympics. So, you know, there's a resume there, that for sure, but she does a great job in the corporate world background, trying to get funding for this great team here. That is the University of Canberra Capitals, and credit to her and all the team that can put on this here tonight and get this crowd, especially in this heat.
And she would be loving what her side has dished up in that third quarter. 34 points to 13 in favour of the Capitals in that quarter to take a 16-point lead in the three-quarter time. And it's the Perth did show, though, in the second quarter that they can reel in the margin.
Let's hope from a viewer's point of view that that is the case, that they can find another level here rather than waving the white flag very early. But if the third quarter is anything to go by, it could be good night.
McPhee, that's a good start. She gets the opening bucket of the contest, and she's got 19 points for the game. 10 for Schwagmeyer. Unfortunately, nothing compares to Key Nurse's 29. Mitchell heating up, starting the fourth quarter like she started the third.
Huge, great job. 11 of 25, 44% from downtown for the UC Capitals.
Steindl in the post. Don't see that a lot, Kayla Steindl in the post. She does prefer to hit the outside shot, very much like a Carly Miovic at the Dandenong Rangers. It'd be great to see her in the post, trying to assert her authority a bit more. Especially
with the pick and roll situation. Yes, you want to pick and pop, and that's probably her game, but when there is a mismatch and they do switch, which they did with Mitchell going on to Steindl, she has to capitalise that and find her way to the bucket.
Andy Stewart looking on. Pressure times for him. He knows what's up for grabs. Game 2 will be in Perth on Thursday night between these two sides. 9:30 tip-off Eastern Daylight Savings Time. And, of course, on Sunday, we've got the second semi-final series kicking off. The Melbourne Boomers hosting the Adelaide Lightning. That's going to be a sensational series to watch. Many predicting that will go to 3 games. Right now, though, all attention on the Caps and the Lynx. And whether this Perth side can muster up a comeback. Rochi, lots of confidence. And that was off Lynx hands as well. Kelsey Griffin again forcing it back her team's way. So 15-point advantage for the Caps. Fresh 14 seconds for them to work with here. Good to see Keely Froling back on the court, getting some great court time. And as Jenny mentioned, that third quarter, making the most of her minutes. Pick and roll for Kelsey Griffin. That's always going in.
They make that look very easy. Perth Lynx are looking to do a trap or a run and jump of some sort, but they're just too smart and are able to find the open player every single time.
Paul Goriss watching on as his side now holds a 17-point advantage. Kelsey Griffin, 18 points, 11 rebounds, and we're on triple-double watch. She's got 6 assists as well, Kelsey Griffin. Hopefully she can bring her teammates into the game. Rochi picks the pocket, accelerates away, and Kia Nurse looking for the points number 31. Still alive though. Here she is. Kia Nurse just falling short on the fast break. The Lynx with an opportunity. Ebzery pulls up for the shot, gets the lucky roll, but Katie Ray Ebzery, just 4 points for the Opal tonight.
Yeah, probably a night she'd rather forget. She probably needs to review and go back to what can she contribute to this team. She needs to be able to score. She needs to be able to be a leader, and she's doing neither right now.
Nathan Taylor back on the court, spent a lot of time on the bench in that third quarter. She was travelled as she put up that shot. It was a good stare at the referee, but it looked like a lot of steps before putting up that shot.
I wouldn't want to be on the end of that stare for sure, but I think it was the right call. If we have a look here, she'd made the crossover, but one too many steps, a hop and a goose step, as we call it in rugby union, but that is a travel in our game and a great call by the referee.
She had just one moment in that third quarter where we thought, yeah, maybe there's nothing
Put a hairband on.
that's hindering her game tonight, but she did spend a lot of time off the court. I just wonder if she is at 100%. Hustle defense there from the Lynx. Mariana Tolo checks back in. She's one-on-one with Stein on the post. Kelly Wilson also back on the court in game 3-7-2. Moving into equal fifth on the all-time WNBL games played. And she's still putting up shots and contributing for the Caps for the fresh 14 seconds. Tolo, the lob for Griffin, and a rare fumbling error from the MVP favourite.
That's a turnover that you can wear as a coach. I think Griffin was shooting it before she'd actually caught it, but a good high-low movement nonetheless from the Canberra Capitals. I'm sure they'll be going back to that, especially with Tolo on the field now, on the court now.
McPhee, she was scoring from the same spot earlier, and she's hit her second triple, and she can hold her head high tonight.
Absolutely, 10 of 15 from the field, 22 points and 8 rebounds to go along with it. Hopefully back home on Thursday, she'll be able to do the same again and get some more contributions from her other teammates.
Big game from the girl from Illinois. Griffin again with another fumbling scare there as Wilson turns around and hits the double.
Something out of nothing there. It could have been a turnover, but Canberra Capitals has been all their way. They found yet another way to put some points on the scoreboard.
The Lynx have challenged a few times this quarter, but the Capitals have responded every single time. Taylor, too much heat on that layup attempt. And they're clicking. Well, maybe not quite on that occasion. The Caps. Wilson looking for the pick and roll with Tolo. McPhee playing pretty tight defense on Kia Nurse. The crossover with 6 to shoot. Loses control. Rochi finds a way through, but can't find the bucket. And the Lynx bring it away. Andy Stewart pleads with his team to get a move on. Just under 6 minutes remaining. Steinel, that always looked flat and short.
And that probably sums up their quarter or second half, been flat and short. They've done nothing right offensively or defensively, and it's a game you want to review, but do you just let it go, put that in the bank and come away with something on Thursday and hopefully make sure it's different?
Nice finish from Mariana Tolo. That was a tough shot. Somehow got it to go, and slowly she's increased her points tally to 8. Coming off a season high tally last week, 27 in double overtime against the Bendigo Spirit. And we do have to remember the Caps did play double overtime. They're coming off a 6-day break as well. The Lynx also played overtime, coming off a 6-day break, and had the travel across, so tough for these two teams in 31-degree weather inside the AOS Arena.
And I really think, Ben, that people can't appreciate how difficult that is, playing under this heat and the duress of that heat, but equally having to travel 4 hours across the coast of Australia, across the Nullarbor, and it really can have an effect on you and the way you can perform.
Offensive foul called on Kia Nurse as she tried to drive. The Steinel taking the hit. Close to the only error that Kia Nurse has made tonight. It's been her night.
Hey, we're switching everything, all right? And our next set is a flat, all right? So you're down low. Yep. Lauren, come and get the ball and work off that with Taylor. Yep. And make sure we're deep here. Yep. Defensively, we're going to switch everything. Switch everything. Good. Yep. Okay. Defense on Nurse has been great. Yep. Okay. Next set, we're back into swing. Same again. Great cut. On ball. Ball reverse. On ball. Got it? Flat. Swing. Yep. Then into 2s. Okay. And we really want to look at the pass or the drive inside. 2s. Flat, swing, Flat, swing 2. Go.
Yeah, Katie Ray Ebzery quite vocal in that timeout. You were talking about Katie Ray just beforehand, Jenny. She was a star last season for the City Uni Flames, top 10, or number 1 for assists, top 10 for points, all-star 5. This season, just averaging the 8.7 points per game, 2.5 assists. They're loving the leadership that she's brought to the Lynx in that sense. But from an output perspective, it's been well down for a player that's in the Opal squad. Steindl puts up a shot and misses. Mansfield with a fresh 24. McPhee again for another triple. And he's loving that spot in the court. Perfect from that spot. What a night from Britt McPhee, carrying her team on her back with 25 points and 8 boards. 3 offensive rebounds included in that tally as well. So she has worked her butt off tonight. 4 minutes. 6 to shoot for Griffin. Nice hand from Steindl. And the Lynx get another look here. Down by 13 points. Mansfield almost had it taken out of her hands. Did have it the second time around by Kelsey Griffin. An underrated part of Griffin's game. She can score, she can get the boards, but she has always, throughout her WNBL career, been amongst the top 10 for steals. Crafty player. Here she is, guarded by Maddie Allen. Nurse with 4 to shoot. Kia Nurse is fouled and has the opportunity to take her tally beyond 30 points for the night.
She has been the X factor for the UC Capitals tonight. Watch this little hesitation and go as she drops her head and finishes on her right hand. Really underestimated. Got Allen up and lengthened, which makes it very hard to defend. And she now finds herself at the foul line.
Been a wonderful import for the UC Capitals. Most importantly, she's averaging 34 minutes per game. And under Ali Wilson, who was injured early on in the season, who was averaging 35, that's number 1 in the WNBL. So Paul Goriss relies very heavily on the star Canadian. Here's Ebzery, catch and shoot the turnaround, and it's all oxygen. Not Katie Ray Ebzery's night at all. Caps by 15. Semi-final series 1, game 1. Kia Nurse for 3. But again, Kelsey Griffin there for the O board. And they're just lining up from beyond the perimeter now.
And why wouldn't you when you get ball penetration into the P-way and then kick out? UC Capitals are just dominating from everywhere right now.
26 assists to 14 tonight. They've worked so well, this UC Caps outfit. 5 to shoot for Ebzery. She's a long way from the basket. Gets a screen from Allen. Should have put up the shot. Should have put up the shot. Katie Ray Ebzery.
And I think that's the important point that you made, that she should have put up the shot. And I think there's been a lot of times throughout this season where she should be putting up those shots. And the Perth Lynx are wanting her to put up those shots. And she needs to. I mean, she's only taken 8 shots for this game. She's an Australian Opal for a reason. And that's because she can score. And we know she can put the ball in the hole. Perhaps she'll be able to do that in game 2.
18-point lead for the Caps. This crowd has been vocal all night. Good defense on Griffin by the Lynx. Caused Griffin to stumble. She was looking for another assist there. She's 3 assists away from a triple-double, Kelsey Griffin. Great block from Asia Taylor, rising up and swatting it away. And they have to hit triples now, the Lynx, and that's handy from Schwagmeyer. 15 points is the margin. We're less than 2 minutes away. Everything has to go right now. Shyla Heel checking in for the Lynx and immediately forcing it out of bounds. Just her first minutes of the night. We saw her hit a tremendous floater on the quarter-time buzzer last week against the Adelaide Lightning. Brought the Bendat Basketball Centre to life. She's got something about her, the 17-year-old. Maybe we might see more of her in game 2. Wilson swatted away again by Asia Taylor, who's come up with a couple of nice defensive plays, but they're vastly running out of time. Tolo will receive from Mitchell for 3. And that is some icing on a very sweet cake for the UC Caps.
And she throws out a nice little cheeky smile there. I know her son Cash, who's now 6 months old, is sitting in the crowd watching as well. So a little added bonus to get to see her mum play.
It's been a roller coaster few months, it has to be said, or past 12 months for Leilani Mitchell. Couldn't play in the Ovals due to a foot injury. She's moved WNBL clubs. Missed out, as I said before, on that World Championship as well. And of course, her partner gave birth, as I mentioned, 6 months ago. So 18-point lead for the Caps. Still, they've got their stars out on the floor. Heel finds a way through, and she gets on the scoreboard. Shyla Heel. But still, the 16-point differential. Leilani Mitchell with 21 points so far in this game. Griffin with Ellie Collins for company. She's checked into the game. Griffin for Nurse, for Mitchell for the triple.
Oh, stop it, Ben! She's putting on a show right now, Leilani Mitchell. Huge, another three for her, 6 of 9. I only wish she was dropping bombs like this for the lifeline round that we had last week.
Here is Heel. There's that floater that we talked about just before off target. And we're into the final minute. And they're full of voice, the UC Capitals crowd. It has been clinical in this second half. Kelly Wilson for 3. And they are steaming towards this second semi-final clash. Heel knocks down a 3. She's up to 5 points in the last couple of minutes. That's a season high for Shyla Heel. But it has all been the UC Capitals in this second half. They were down by 5 points at halftime as Kelsey Griffin checks out for what has been one heck of a night for her. 18 points, 12 rebounds and 7 assists for Kelsey Griffin. Leilani Mitchell, Mariana Tolo take a seat. And a couple of opportunities for some players off the bench. Canberra with a massive 95 points to their name. One of the #1 offensive team in the WNBL, and they're showing why tonight. Kia Nurse, has she got one final big play left? 5 to shoot. Unselfishly goes the pick and roll to Scherf. Swatted away there by the Lynx, and 2 seconds for the Capitals to shoot. There's 10 seconds left in this game. One dominated by Kia Nurse, particularly in that third quarter. And hot from beyond the arc. Has she got one more left? She doesn't. But the Canberra Capitals showing why they are the favourites to win their 8th WNBL championship. A clinical, comprehensive 29-point win over the Perth Lynx to send a statement to the Lynx and the Boomers and the Lightning. All smiles as the bench empties and congratulate each other. Nurse with 31 points, with 6 for 12 from beyond the arc. Leilani Mitchell 6 for 9 from beyond the arc for 24 points. And Kelsey Griffin 18 and 12, a 16th double-double in the 2018-19 Chemist Warehouse WNBL season. Jenny Screen is courtside, and she has Lynx player Katie Ray Ebzer.
Katie Ray, I can see the frustration in your face. Probably not the game as a team collectively you wanted to come out and play. Were there any positive things that you saw that you could take into game 2?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we clawed our way back after a bit of a slow start and got our noses in front at the half, and then we just let ourselves down in that third quarter, and it's been a little bit of a trend, and that's something that we'll go back and we'll look at and we'll work on and hopefully be better at in the second game.
Second game, you're a leader of this team, you're an Australian Opal, probably not the game that you'd like. You'd review this, we know you can score. Is that going to be a focus for you in the second game?
Yeah, hopefully. You know, it's something that I like to think I can do, and yeah, that's something I
team. So, yeah, I'll go back and have a bit of a look and see where I can be a bit more aggressive and get some buckets, and hopefully that'll help us go a bit better in the second game.
Home court advantage, you know you're good at home. This crowd was important for the UC Capitals tonight. You had a great turnout in round 15. What do you want to tell your fans for game 2, which is really, really important?
Yeah, we want to see a big crowd in game 2, obviously, and help us get over the line. That's going to be really important. So, yeah, come on out to Bendat Basketball Centre and we'll see everyone there on Thursday.
Katie Ray, hydrate, safe travels back to the West. Good luck in game 2.
Thank you.
All right. I believe we're standing by with Hannah Hollis and the great Kelsey Griffin.
Thank you, Jenny. Kelsey Griffin, you are a championship player. You've been here before. You know what a semi-final series is like. I need to know what sparked the turnaround in the third quarter for the Caps.
It was our defense. You know, we know that Perth is a possession team. We know they can rebound really well as get to the free throw line. And we let them get to the foul line way too many times in that second quarter, and we gave them way too many second chance points. And so we knew we really had to take care of that. It always helps when Lay and Kelly and Kia heat up, but it was really our defense. You know, we were able to get several stops in a row to start that third quarter, and that's what we want to do.
We've come to know that your performances are always consistent, but talk up your teammates for me. Kia Nurse and Leilani Mitchell, how good were they tonight?
They were amazing. You know, they're world-class players, and they've both done it on the international stage in the WNBA and in Australia. And so, you know, Kia's making a real name for herself in the league. It's her first year out here. You know, but Lay's a championship player as well, and I'm just so glad I get to play with her instead of against her finally. But I also really want to credit our bench. I think Keely Froling came in and gave us amazing minutes in that third quarter, allowed me to cool down a little bit and catch my breath, and I think that's what makes us special too, is our bench. We have a lot of really great, talented bench players as well.
I can't believe you guys could actually hear the calls tonight. This crowd at the AIS Arena is second to none. It was electric. Do you guys feed off that, particularly in moments when you're looking for a bit of inspiration?
Absolutely. You know, I've only heard about what it's like to play here in championship time, and you know, they've told us that Canberra really comes out for finals, and they really have tonight. You know, we can't thank them enough. You know, it makes it a hostile environment and a tough place to play, and we love it.
All right, you head to Perth next week for game 2 on Thursday. What do you take away from tonight's game that you might want to have a look at in the lead up to the next match?
You know, I think it's that defense. When we play defense and we don't send them to the foul line, then we can really build runs on them. And so that's something that we really tried to do in the second half a lot better, and we got to take it. Perth's a hard place to win at. You know, Adelaide showed them that it can be done, but it's going to be tough. And so, you know, we got to recover properly, hydrate, you know, watch tape, see where we can improve, and, you know, give it our best shot.
All right, thanks for your time. Enjoy the win, and good luck in Perth next week. Cool off.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
All right, stay with us here on Fox Sports. That's it. Canberra Capitals 1-0 over the Perth Lynx in this semi-final series. Stay with us. We'll be back to wrap it all up. welcome back to the AIS Arena in Canberra. It's been hot, the heat policy in full action. There's been some feeling amongst both teams, no love lost between the Perth Lynx and the Canberra Capitals. Canberra coming out and making a statement, showing everyone just why they have been the competition leaders and the championship favourites. Final score 95-76 in favour of the Caps. Ben Waterworth and Jenny Screen alongside me to break down these numbers. It's time now for our Chemist Warehouse match analysis. Jenny, I want to come to you on this 3-point percentage proving to be the difference tonight.
Huge second half for the Canberra Capitals, 47%. Leilani Mitchell went 6 of 9 from downtown, adding to that tally. But I also like to look at the turnovers, 15 for Perth Lynx to 7. Caps looked after that ball, but interesting, Perth Lynx are very, very good normally at looking after the ball, so that'll be something that they'll want to adjust for Game 2 when we go home to Perth.
I want to talk about Brittany McPhee. She was far and away tonight for Perth, their top scorer on 25 points. She can go home tonight feeling pretty satisfied with her individual performance. Of course, upset the team didn't come away with the win.
Yeah, quite remarkably, McPhee only had 2 points in the quarter where Perth really got themselves back into the game, but when Canberra dominated, Brittany McPhee was keeping the Lynx within striking distance, Jenny.
She kept them afloat, that's for sure. I think she can be very happy with her performance tonight. The only thing I ask of her now is, can she back that up in Game 2? She's been pretty inconsistent on the back end of this season, but they're going to need her firing, amongst others. Hayley Reyes-Bree, for sure. Schwagmeyer had a pretty quiet one tonight as well, and Asia Taylor.
Well, early on in this game, the points were really coming from just a handful of players, but as the game progressed, we really saw some heavy lifting and some teamwork, particularly by Kia Nurse there. 31 points, Ben.
Oh my goodness, it was just raining threes in that third quarter. Leilani Mitchell set the tone, and Kia Nurse in that third quarter just lit it up. It was her night tonight.
I like to say that she gave them her medicine.
Oh, yes.
I'm up
Stop
there
it.
with my sayings there tonight, guys. I'm giving Cam Tregar a run for his money, but she was 31 points, 10 of 19 from the field, 6 of 12 from downtown. She was the difference. We know Kelsey Griffin can do it, but definitely the X factor tonight for the Canberra Capitals was the girl on the screen.
Yeah, no one has attempted or made more three-pointers than Kia Nurse, but it's this confidence and ability to drive to the basket. Like, that was team lifting that basket in that third quarter, Jenny. Spark the team.
Oh, it is. It's passion. You love that. It's finals time. You want that physicality, and she was lighting it up from everywhere.
It really was an inspiring effort there from Kia Nurse. She will be very happy with that, and I'm sure her coach will as well. Leilani Mitchell, I spoke to Kelsey Griffin in the post-match. She couldn't speak highly enough of both Kia Nurse and Leilani. They put on a clinic tonight for the Canberra Capitals.
Yeah, the first time these two sides played, Mitchell was a bit rusty. She only had the 5 points. But in the now 3 games that they've played since, Mitchell has been a real headache for Andy Stewart and the Perth Lynx. Another 24 points tonight.
I spoke to her pre-game. We know that she's, had injury for the most part of this season, battling with the plantar fasciitis, but she's coming to her goods towards the better end of the season where it matters. And for the second half, that is something she'll want to remember. Wow, 6 of 9 from downtown. She was huge. This Australian Opals guard did a really good job.
Grand final MVP a couple of years ago for the Sydney Uni Flames. She knows what it takes to get it done.
All right, well, a number of championship players here for the Canberra Capitals. They know what it's like at this time of year. So Game 2, they travel to Perth in this semi-final series. As we take a look at how it all unfolds, we have a doubleheader next Thursday, the 31st of January. We start in Adelaide at the Titanium Security Arena. They play the Melbourne Boomers. We're still yet to find out the score of that and who's leading in the series because they play this Sunday. But Canberra, they're 1-0 against Perth. Perth, it's a late game, but Perth will be there. They have to win this. When it comes to finals, you don't get the opportunity to, I suppose, dwell on the loss, right, Ben? Like, Andy Stewart will need to be able to galvanise his team and move on and just drop the baggage. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves just yet. There is still a game to be played this weekend on Sunday, just 48 hours away. We're in Melbourne. The Boomers host the Adelaide Lightning at the State Basketball Centre, and our coverage for that game begins at 5 p.m. We hope to see as many people there as possible.
I interviewed 10 people during the week asking for a result on how the semi-finals might go down. Melbourne Boomers and Adelaide Lightning, 6, including yourself, Jenny, thought the Lightning might beat the Boomers, even though the Boomers took the series during the season.
I know. There's just something about Adelaide, I think, with the hardships that they've had this season, but the way they're playing, the way Chris is running the ship, My heart is with Adelaide. Sometimes my head says the Boomers, but either way, it's going to be flooded with purple on Sunday and a great game to watch.
All right, well, it is full-time here at the AIS Arena. The Canberra Capitals, a comprehensive win, 95-76 over the Perth Lynx. Ben Waterworth, Jenny Screen, thank you for your expert analysis tonight. We'll see you in Melbourne on Sunday night for the next semi-final series. Good night.